always a dummy who has to stand up. And once again, it's Charlie! This character has followed me through with all the children. Is that not right, Andrea? And the parties we've had with them. Is that right, Charlie? Yes, it is. And they all look at it. Anyway, I'm really delighted to stand up here today and talk to you. So turn your hearing aids up, turn your chairs around in this direction, and best men, listen attentively. Down there! And also that little bleeder there. He knows who he is. Alright, I haven't written everything down because I got so many people to thank that I've written everything down. I am really proud to be here as Andrea's dad, John's dad, Claire's dad, Kate's dad, Andrea's dad, Fiona's dad, Rachel's dad. Nobody. And of course Matt's dad, who can't be here. I've learnt that if I miss one of you out, the whole day is absolute hell. Thank you for attending this really special day, a day that Andrea will want to cherish for the rest of her life. They said it was going to be heavy downpours today, and we've been looking at the weather forecast for the last 3 or 4 days thinking it's going to rain. But God shines on the righteous. Who is Jimmy Righteous? Is he here? If you don't follow any of these jokes, I do have a sign that Okay, let's crack on with this. Oh, let me turn my... I have also got here a stopwatch. I've marked it at the right time to finish. Okay?
Half an hour.
No, you're not. You're right, it's not half an hour. So let's get the Leahy tradition out of the way. I made some notes, so let's see if I can find them. Yes, they're here. I understand there's been some side bets on how long I'm going to talk. And I have timed this, and I can tell you now, it's 94 minutes. Kate, you're the winner. Now sit back and relax. Don't go to sleep, but listen carefully and tell me any improvements I can make. Come and see me after. In fact,
your weddings.
I will be asking questions. Actually, Andrea told me if I did really well, I can speak again at her next wedding. And to treat this like a rehearsal. Okay, so what we did, Andrea said to me, Dad, I've got a real problem. It's getting the tables laid out. Where is everyone going to sit? So we did sit down and I looked at this very, very carefully, and we just had a look around and we decided that those who gave the biggest presents would sit closest. So Fred and Joan, I think they're outside. Thank you for the other. It's a real pleasure actually to stand in front of you all and talk about Andrea and her journey to the altar and becoming Mrs. James. Yes, another
Sailor James.
A pleasure, but it left me filled with apprehension at having to make a speech. As many of you know, I just love standing up in front of an audience and talking, and I don't get this opportunity very often. And I've got an audience that attracts nobody leaves. Right, okay, so we've had different weddings in different places. We had a wedding in a reception in an Indian restaurant. That was different. We had a double-decker bus. We had a restaurant at Bristol Zoo, a reception at Bristol Zoo for a wedding. That was fabulous. Today we're in a fabulous place here. The view across the bay is probably one of the 15th best views in the world. with a car that... Shoot that man.
No problem, you don't have to answer
And to help the police car, I thought was absolutely brilliant. It just topped it off. We got some fabulous photos. And thanks to everyone for being so patient with the photographs. It just seems that it goes on forever. If you're not in a photograph, you're just hanging around. Who's that barracking me there? I can hear. As I said, I'd like to thank all of you for coming to this, and particularly those who have contributed costs. I must tell you, Andrea and Paul have taken this upon themselves, and every effort they've done themselves. Andrea has put on an absolutely marvellous evening and day. I just am really proud. And I'd like to thank all of those others who contributed in any way to that. I can tell you from personal experience that staging a wedding like this has been really hard work. I haven't slept for weeks, as you can imagine, writing invitations, working out the table plan, making the table decorations. I mean, it's just been terrible. Sorting out the smallest detail. It's kept me so busy non-stop. But on a serious note, I can tell you that Andrea, together with Angie and their friends, have really done a sterling job, and I'd like to thank them all. Let's drink to the health of the organisers of today. Here's to Andrea and the organisers.
Thank you, girls. Thank you, Mum.
We got a few toasts, but it's a good way to get an extra.
Okay, come and toast them there.
Only 4 pages left. Talking of thanks, I'd really like to thank my sister Sue. I don't know if you've seen the wedding cake, it is absolutely incredible. If you look at the top, the roses on the top look like real roses, in fact they're icing. It is just really wonderful. When Andrew was born, we had a wedding cake, and we took the top layer of the wedding cake and had it as a christening cake for Andrew. And Sue made this fantastic little fairy in a little cradle that we kept for years and years because it looks just so beautiful. So, now let me tell you about other things. It's been really interesting preparing this speech. It's been difficult looking back and reflecting on the past, but also looking forward to the future with hope for both Paul and Andrea. And when I look at Bailey, I looked at him this morning, it's like watching Andrea running across the room. They're so alike. And in fact, Andrea was just like Bailey. She was such a sweet little girl. What? People said she was a sweet little girl. She was always happy, and she had a go at everything. Whatever people did, she had a go. She was caring right from the beginning, and always had time for her younger brothers and sisters and friends. In fact, she showed no jealousy, and it's unusual to find that with children. When a baby's born, the older children sometimes get jealous. She was always caring, and she always looked after them, and it was really nice to see. And she was sort of a brownie. You were also, yes, in the back.
And then
she put her whole life into it, and it made us feel really proud to go to these events and see her doing things. And she danced. You know, she was a ballet dancer. Can you see her now? Do you want to give us a little And she was always steady. She was always steady in what she did. And then she became a teenager. The teenager from hell! I remember I spent a few years trawling streets looking for her at 3 o'clock in the morning. In fact, someone over there said to me, the people who can remember this, the police calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning saying, Mr. Leahy, your daughter's on the pavement, can you come and pick her up?
That's a couple of occasions. It's in the past.
She was so bad one time, we used to take her shoes off her, lock the front door, and on one occasion, what did she do? She jumped out of her bedroom window, straight through the sunroof on the car and wrote the car off. But I must tell you, on a serious note, that she did have a friend actually who died at 14, a friend that used to come and see us. And Andrea asked to say a few words at the church, and at 14 she stood up in front of like 400 or 500 people and spoke about this friend of hers who died. So she really has been very caring, you know. In fact, during her teens she went through more than most people do in their whole life. Andrea and I moved to Swansea as an advance family party, looking for a house for us to move to, and getting Andrea settled in school. Settled? That is a joke. I spent several sessions with the staff trying to explain what Andrea avoided school and how she did it. She used to write her own notes. She did a better signature than I did. I've had to change my signature because every time I got my checkbook out, I wonder if I wrote the cheque or Andrea. But she did some good things too. I can remember one absolutely amazing time when I needed the wall painted. Amber and Andrea put on clothes to paint the wall outside the house. I must tell you, the road has never looked whiter.
Hashtag true story.
In fact, they both look like snowmen when they finished. Halfway there, guys. When she left school, Andrea took up a job working with people really with mental problems, mental difficulties in their own homes, and it really was her salvation. She's turned her caring into real practical skill and has been doing this work for several years. She's become really respected in her work. In fact, I was talking to Dean just now, and he's just said the same thing. Yeah. You know, she's really professional, but she's able to bring laughter and sunshine into everybody's life around her. But she's very professional in her approach. And she's undertaken loads of courses and really strives to be good at her job. But what really matters, and the real reason she's so successful, is she really cares about the people around her, whether they're working colleagues, clients, friends. And she's like that socially. She's had about 150 hen parties. And I've had some peaceful evenings where I get on and just relax. Yeah. It was 149 hen parties.
We had one last night, Joe.
Oh, God. I can't decide whether it's to just be with her friends or get an extra drink or 10. Then she met Paul, and then she had baby. And she became a wonderful mother and has taken to Jess, Zach and Lily as if they're own children. She shows an enormous amount of love, patience and caring, and I can't see her as the same person who gave her mother and I such heartache as a teenager. We're really proud of her and what she's achieving within her life. She and Paul make a great team, and Andrea has an air of contentment about her. So Paul, do take care of her. You'll both be happy for life. Of course. It's been responsible. It's been a responsibility preparing the speech, as just telling a few stories would be too easy. Giving Andrea away would have been a dying wish when she was a teenager. Real delight knowing she's so happy that she can get on well with Paul and the kids. But of course life isn't all a bed of roses, so I thought I'd give Paul... Oh, there's my alarm, that means I've got to sit down. No, it doesn't. Life isn't just a bed of roses, so Paul, here are some tips, practical tips that I have like to pass on to you, okay? Never go to bed in an argument. Always stay up and fight on. You must remember your wedding anniversary. The simplest way...
That's why I've got that.
The simplest way to forget your wedding anniversary is simplest way to remember it is to forget it once. We all know what happens there. Yeah. By the way, Andrea told me just yesterday she'll be 30 next year. That's getting on. And I thought, you're only 28. But guys, next weekend is her birthday. What are we going to remember? So Paul, don't you dare forget next weekend.
All the rest of it.
Okay, now that all of you, the third thing I want you to remember is if you came with a partner, look at them in the eyes now. Look at each other very deep. And just hold it there. Let me tell you, statistics say that the person you're looking at is the person most likely to murder you. Very important, my mother-in-law's here. Where are you, Pat? All right? Always get on with your mother-in-law. I haven't actually spoken to my mother-in-law for 18 months now. Not because I don't like her, I just can't get a word in. And the last one, on a serious note, cherish Andrea and you'll be repaid 1,000 times, even when you're taken back. Now I'm sure Paul's mates will tell me he's a live wire, but you know I can't remember the first time I met him. He just seemed to be there. He was quiet in the background. He's always been, he's always talked to me and he's willing to help if I need a hand. Unfortunately though, I don't think he's a very practical handyman. In fact, we were going to give him a toolbox as a birthday present, but Andrea said he wouldn't know how to undo it. So, Angie and myself are really happy to welcome him into our family. We're also pleased to get the pages mixed up and find the next one, to know his parents, Colin and Janice. Look, we're on the last page, guys. We're also really pleased to welcome Janice and Colin into the family. And also we've had a few meals and a few drinks and we get on really well, so that's good. I must tell you, marriage can be very rewarding, and I was looking for photographs last evening that Andrea wanted, and in our 39 photo albums, which stack this high, I flicked through some and I saw so many happy times that we'd had as a family over the years, and I hope that you and Andrea and Paul have as many happy memories in 30 years' time. Remember, life has its ups and downs. You just have to grab as many ups as you can. So, thanks for your kind patience in listening to me. I don't often have a captive audience these days. What a joy! No one's left! Now it's finally time to drink a toast to the bride and groom. So here's a short Irish blessing first. May the wings of a butterfly kiss the sun and settle on you to bring you luck, happiness, health, and riches today, tomorrow, and forever. Please stand up and a toast to Andrea and Paul. Andrea! There's just one thing I forgot to say. I was going to talk about mixed marriages, because we're English. You didn't know that, did you, Paul? So, Paul, this is for you.
I was like